Hello. So I made it back to Canada from Japan. As promised, I said I was going to do an update on what happens in Japan and what happened on my way back to Canada. So let's talk about it a little bit. So after Indonesia, I spent about 9 days in Japan. Um, Good experience there, nice country, good big cities. Had a great time. But one thing I noticed about Japan is that the cult, the Satanic Secret Society that runs our world, is very, very active in Japan. Very active. More than any other place, I would say, that I experienced throughout my trip. Maybe because this was the end of my trip, so they're trying they're trying their best to get me to slip or get me to do something in order to entrap me. So after I arrived in Japan, um, everywhere I went, almost there was a beautiful woman just staring at me, smiling at me, trying to engage me into conversations, which is not a normal thing, especially for girls that look that good. You know, for them to try to talk to a random guy or try to flirt with a random guy on the street, especially Japanese girls. That's not really their culture. They're more conservative. They're a little bit different people. Um, I took a bus going from one city from Osaka to Tokyo, and on that bus, I felt like the people that were managing the bus, the driver and his assistant, uh, I kind of got a feeling that they already knew me a little bit because the way they were acting towards me and the way they were looking at me. I mean, that's just a speculation. I could be wrong, but I kind of had that gut feeling that, there's something going on over there. Same things when every time I went to a hotel, some minor issues at the hotels, people trying to disturb me while during my sleep, making loud noises, stuff like that. That went on. But the biggest thing that happened was on my way back to Canada. So I arrived at Tokyo Airport to check into my flight for American Airlines. And my flight had a connection from JFK, which is in New York. And then from there, I had a layover of about hour and a half. And then my next flight was to Toronto. So I was concerned um, about being able to make this next flight because the distance, the time period between the two flights was not very long. So I was concerned as it was, but once I arrived at the Tokyo airport and tried to check in, the woman working there, she told me that once I arrive in the US, I will have to reclaim my baggage and then recheck it back in, my checked baggage, which did not make any sense to me because normally when you have a flight to another country, your baggage goes directly to your next flight and you don't have to claim it and then recheck it again, especially when your layover is only hour and a half. So I was a little concerned and I asked her, I was like, hey, my layover is not very long. Like, what's happening here? What if I miss my next flight because I have to claim my luggage and recheck it back in? Like it seemed like there might be an issue. But she did not say anything. She's like, well, this is what she told me. She's like, if you flew via Dallas, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. But since you're flying from New York, you have to claim your baggage and then you recheck it. And it did not make any sense to me. I mean, if you have an international flight coming into the US, and they have some kind of policy where they want everybody to claim their luggage and then recheck it back in, which is not true. It does not happen. Why wouldn't that apply at all places instead of just one place where I'm going? Like, why would Dallas be any different, right? Because as far as I know, the American Border Agency is a federal agency, right? So their rules probably apply universally within all states, not just in New York, and they have different, whereas they have different rules in Dallas. So she told me, well, you didn't take the flight from Dallas, so that's why you have to claim your luggage and check it back in. So I said okay to her, but I did not really buy her story because it did not make any sense to me. And I was also a little worried about like the time frame and everything. So I contacted the airline from their online chat and asked the supervisor there, because I spoke with the same supervisor the day earlier, and I got connected to the supervisor, and I asked this person, I was like, hey, I have a disconnecting flight from New York going into Toronto, and now my layover is only hour and a half. Am I required to check in, grab my luggage, and then check it back in? And she's like, no, you don't have to do that because your luggage will go directly onto your next flight, and which has always been the case when I traveled to any country. I mean, I had a layover in China for around 9 hours, 9 or 7, I can't remember, but they had a rule like if your layover is less than 10 hours, you don't have to claim your baggage. Your baggage goes directly to your next flight. So even though China is a different country, many of the places I travel to is always the same rule. You don't have to claim your baggage and check it back in. My guess is they were going to try to harass me at the airport, get my luggage out, maybe detain me, maybe cause some problems for me. But I wasn't willing to wait and find out. So I contacted, while I was on the flight, I messaged my parents and I told them, I was like, look, hey, I have a connecting flight in New York. These people are going to remove my luggage from my flight and they're not going to put it on the next flight. And they want me to recheck my luggage, and they're taking my luggage off. And my dad was also very shocked when I told him that. He was like, "What? No way! That's impossible! Like how? What?" And I checked online. I checked many different forums where people talk about this, and everybody says the same thing. You don't have to claim your baggage if you have a connecting flight on the same ticket going to another destination. Especially because I'm not entering the US, so I don't have any customs to declare there because my customs, whatever I declare, is going to be in Canada because I'm not entering that country with the products that I'm bringing with me, even if I have something to declare, even though I didn't. So I messaged my dad. I told him, I was like, look, I think these guys are playing a game. They're going to try to pull some move on me here. So if something happens, if they detain me or if you don't hear from me again, just contact the Canadian Embassy in New York, let them know what's going on, and that way you'll get an update on what's going on with me. So when that happened, I guess they figured that I already know what's going on. So now it was like, if they try to do something, they would get exposed because I already kind of predicted what they were going to do, and my dad was ready to call the Canadian Embassy and let them know what I predicted. So it was kind of put them in a wrong situation, wrong position. So I went in, I grabbed my luggage, which apparently showed up. Okay, I grabbed my luggage, walked a little bit, put it on another conveyor belt, they scanned it, put it on another conveyor belt, and it went to a different flight. And I just don't understand why I had to do that. Why couldn't they just take it from one flight and put it on another flight? Why did I have to go and pick it up from one conveyor belt and put it on another conveyor belt? Doesn't make any sense. In my entire life, I didn't have to do anything like that. So that was something very sketchy. And also, when I was talking to the border agent in the States, um, I knew they were going to try to play games or ask some dumb questions. So, like, as soon as I walked up to him, I told him straight up, I was like, hey, I have a connecting flight. And he was like, good for you. Okay. I don't know how that's good for me. I'm just traveling. But um, yeah, so then he looks in his computer, and same thing happened in Malaysia. They usually put like a message on the computer for the agents in order for them to harass me or ask me some question or screw around with me. So he looks at his computer and then he asks me, "Do you have any food like meat, vegetables, or something to declare?" And I'm like, "Nigga, what you talking about? What are you? I'm not entering your country with anything." I'm not even going into your country. So what does it matter what I have? Why do you care what I have? I'm just going from one flight to the next and going into my country. If anybody should be asking me this question, it should be the people in Canada and the country that I'm going to enter. So what are you talking about? Makes no sense. So, but I didn't want to argue with him. I didn't want to create a problem. I had to catch my next flight. I just answered no. He, he scanned my passport, said, okay, go ahead. I went ahead, boarded my next flight, and went to Canada and was able to get home safely. So, like I said, this cult has been trying and trying and trying to frame me, to harass me. And I mean, I just don't know what to do with them. And it's so sad because I'm a lawyer and I'm part of the system. I studied so many years in university, and I want to practice law. And the reason why I left this country 3 years ago was because of this harassment, because they were trying to frame me for crimes, trying to get me to send money to charities abroad, to frame me for terrorist financing. Then they did a fraud on my practice where they defrauded a lender of $700,000. So they did a lot of things, a lot of illegal things. I mean, this entity runs our government, but it's a mafia. It conducts illegal operations. So I'm sick and tired of their shit. I'm sick and tired of it. But I really don't have a choice because no matter where I go, they make problems for me there. I went to China. I thought maybe it was gonna be different there. Same thing there. So it makes sense for me to come back to Canada, where my home is, where my parents are, my family, and live with them. If they want to do something here, if they want to frame me here, then I guess I have to deal with it here, because this is my home ground, this is my home turf. So yeah, I'm back now. I'm gonna get back into my work, start my practice, and start this chapter of my life again, try again, and let's see what they do now. I'll keep you posted. For now, goodbye.